The Multifamily Millionaire, Volume 1 by Brandon Turner Brian Murray. Here are the 9 lessons. First, the power of multifamily investing. Second, understanding the multifamily market. Third, finding and analyzing deals. Fourth, financing your multifamily investment. Fifth, due diligence, digging deeper into a property. Sixth, closing on your multifamily investment. 7, property management, hiring and firing. 8, scaling your multifamily business. 9th, strategies for adding value to your property. Let's start with Lesson 1. Summary of Lesson 1. The Power of Multifamily Investing from the Multifamily Millionaire, Volume 1 by Brandon Turner Brian Murray, organized by topics. Introduction. The authors introduce the concept of multifamily investing, which involves purchasing and managing apartment buildings or other residential properties with multiple units. They argue that multifamily investing is a powerful wealth-building strategy that offers numerous advantages over other types of real estate investing, such as single-family homes or commercial properties. 1. Benefits of multifamily investing. The authors discuss several benefits of multifamily investing, including economies of scale. Managing one large property is often more efficient than managing multiple smaller properties. Cash flow. Rental income from multiple units can provide steady cash flow and potential for long-term appreciation. Tax advantages. Multifamily investing offers numerous tax benefits, such as depreciation and deductions for expenses. Lower risk. Multifamily properties are less susceptible to vacancies or non-payment of rent compared to single-family homes. Professional property management. With larger properties, it is often feasible to hire a professional property management company to handle day-to-day operations. 2. Common multifamily investing myths. The authors address several common myths about multifamily investing, including it's too expensive. While multifamily properties can be more expensive than single-family homes, there are many options for financing and partnerships. It's too complicated. While multifamily investing can involve more complexity than other types of real estate investing, the authors argue that it is manageable with education and experience. It's too risky. The authors argue that multifamily investing can be less risky than other types of real estate investing, particularly if investors conduct thorough due diligence and have a solid business plan. Conclusion. The authors conclude that multifamily investing is a powerful wealth-building strategy that offers numerous benefits and is accessible to a wide range of investors. They encourage readers to continue reading the book to learn more about how to get started in multifamily investing. Summary of Lesson 2. Understanding the Multifamily Market from the Multifamily Millionaire, Volume 1 by Brandon Turner, Brian Murray. Introduction. In this lesson, the authors stress the importance of understanding the multifamily market to make informed investment decisions. They explain that the multifamily market is complex and influenced by various factors, such as demographics, economics, and government policy. 1. Demographic factors. A. Population growth. High population growth areas can experience increased demand for housing. The authors encourage investors to research population trends and predict future population growth to identify potential opportunities. B. Age distribution. The preferences and needs of different age groups can impact the demand for multifamily properties. For example, millennials may prefer urban locations and access to amenities, while baby boomers may prefer quieter suburban locations. C.E. Household size. The size of households can impact the demand for different types of units. Smaller households may prefer smaller units, while larger households may require more space. D. Income levels. The authors explain that areas with higher incomes may have higher demand for luxury or high-end properties, while areas with lower incomes may have higher demand for affordable housing. 2. Economic factors. A. Employment trends. Areas with strong job growth may experience increased demand for housing. Investors can research job growth trends to identify areas with potential investment opportunity. B. Interest rates. Changes in interest rates can impact the affordability of multifamily properties for investors and tenants. The authors encourage investors to consider the impact of interest rates on cash flow and overall profitability. CE construction costs. The authors explain that increases in construction costs can impact the supply of new multifamily properties, which can in turn impact demand and rental rates. 3. Government policy. A. Zoning laws. The authors discuss the impact of zoning laws on the multifamily market. Restrictions on building multifamily properties can limit supply and increase demand, potentially driving up rental rates. B. Rent control. The authors explain that rent control policies can limit the amount landlords can charge for rent, potentially impacting the profitability of multifamily properties. C. Tax incentives. Government incentives for affordable housing or energy efficiency can impact the profitability of multifamily properties. Investors can research potential tax incentives to identify investment opportunities. Conclusion. The authors conclude by emphasizing the importance of understanding the multifamily market to identify potential investment opportunities and make informed investment decisions. They encourage investors to research local market conditions, demographics, economics, and government policy to identify trends and predict future changes. Summary of Lesson 3. Finding and Analyzing Deals from the Multifamily Millionaire. Volume 1 by Brandon Turner, Brian Murray. Organized by topics. Introduction. The authors stress the importance of finding and analyzing deals in multifamily investing. They explain that the ability to identify and evaluate potential deals quickly and accurately is critical for success in this field. 1. Finding deals. A. Off-market deals. The authors suggest that investors should seek out off-market deals as a way to gain a competitive edge. They recommend building relationships with brokers, property managers, and other investors to gain access to these types of deals. B. Online listings. The authors recommend using online resources such as LoopNet, CoStar, and Craigslist to find potential properties. They suggest using search filters and alerts to help narrow down the options. C. Direct mail. The authors suggest using direct mail as a way to generate leads. They recommend targeting specific areas and property types and using a personalized approach. 2. Analyzing deals. A. Financial analysis. The authors stress the importance of conducting a thorough financial analysis of potential deals. They recommend using various financial metrics such as cap rate, cash on cash return, and internal rate of return to evaluate potential deals. They also suggest factoring in expenses such as property taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs. B. Due diligence. The authors emphasize the importance of conducting due diligence on potential deals. They recommend reviewing financial documents such as rent rolls and profit and loss statements, as well as tenant leases and property management agreements. They also suggest conducting a property inspection to identify any potential issues or repairs that may be needed. C. Market analysis. The authors discuss the importance of conducting a market analysis to evaluate the potential demand for a property. They suggest researching local market trends, demographic data, and economic indicators to identify potential risks and opportunities. They also recommend conducting a competitive analysis to compare the potential property to other similar properties in the area. The authors conclude by stressing the importance of finding and analyzing deals in multifamily investing. They suggest developing a system for finding deals and conducting a thorough analysis of potential deals before making an investment decision. They also emphasize the need for patience and discipline in this process, as finding the right deal may take time and effort. Summary of Lesson 4. Financing Your Multifamily Investment from the Multifamily Millionaire, Volume 1 by Brandon Turner, Brian Murray, organized by topics. Introduction. The authors stress the importance of financing in multifamily investing, highlighting how the right financing strategy can help investors achieve their goals and maximize their returns. They also note that financing can be a complex and challenging aspect of investing and recommend seeking guidance from professionals. 1. Types of financing. A. Traditional financing. The authors discuss traditional financing options such as bank loans, which require a down payment and have fixed interest rates and repayment terms. They note that these loans are often the most common financing option for multifamily properties, and recommend working with a lender who specializes in multifamily properties. B. Government-backed loans. The authors discuss government-backed loans such as FA loans, which offer lower down payment requirements and flexible repayment terms. They note that these loans can be a good option for first-time investors or those with limited capital, but may have higher upfront costs and more stringent requirements. C. Seller financing. The authors discuss seller financing, where the seller of the property provides the financing for the buyer. They note that this option may be more flexible and have lower upfront costs, but may come with higher interest rates and require more negotiation. D. Syndication. The authors discuss syndication, where multiple investors pool their money to purchase a property. They note that this can be a good option for investors who don't have enough capital to purchase a property on their own, but requires careful planning and coordination. 2. Choosing the right financing strategy. A. Goals. The authors stress the importance of aligning financing strategies with investment goals. For example, if an investor's goal is to hold the property long-term, a fixed-rate mortgage may be a better option. Conversely, if an investor plans to sell the property in the near future, an adjustable-rate mortgage may be more suitable. B. Risk tolerance. The authors recommend considering risk tolerance when choosing a financing strategy. For example, if an investor is risk-averse, a government-backed loan may be a better option than a traditional loan, which may have more stringent requirements and a higher down payment. C. Property type. The authors suggest considering the property type when choosing a financing strategy. For example, commercial lenders may be more willing to finance larger multifamily properties than smaller ones. They also note that certain types of properties, such as historic buildings or those in a flood zone, may have more limited financing options. 3. Working with lenders. A. Pre-approval. The authors recommend obtaining pre-approval from a lender before beginning the search for a property. This can help investors understand their borrowing capacity and avoid wasting time on properties that are out of their price range. B. Negotiation. The authors stress the importance of negotiation when working with lenders. They note that investors can often negotiate interest rates, repayment terms, and other aspects of the loan to better align with their goals and needs. C. Building relationships. The authors recommend building relationships with lenders to help secure financing for future investments. They suggest staying in touch with lenders and providing regular updates on investment performance. Conclusion. The authors conclude by reiterating the importance of finding the right financing strategy in multifamily investment. They recommend considering investment goals, risk tolerance, and property type when choosing a financing option, and working with trusted professionals to guide the decision-making process. They also note that financing can be a dynamic aspect of investing, and that investors should stay informed about market conditions and financing options to maximize their returns. Summary of Lesson 5. Due diligence. Digging deeper into a property from the Multifamily Millionaire, Volume 1 by Brandon Turner, Brian Murray, organized by topics. Introduction. The authors emphasize the importance of conducting due diligence when considering a multifamily property investment. They note that due diligence involves digging deeper into a property's financials, physical condition, and other factors to identify potential risks and opportunity. 1. Financial due diligence. A. Income and expenses. The authors stress the importance of analyzing a property's income and expenses to determine its cash flow potential. They recommend reviewing financial statements such as profit and loss statements, rent rolls, and utility bills to identify any inconsistencies or red flags. B. Rent comparables. The authors suggest researching rental rates in the area to determine if the property is priced appropriately. They recommend looking at similar properties in the same area to compare rents, amenities, and other factors. C. Capital expenditures. The authors recommend reviewing the property's capital expenditures, such as maintenance and repair costs, to identify any potential future expenses. 2. Physical due diligence. A. Inspection. The authors stress the importance of conducting a thorough inspection of the property to identify any physical issues or safety hazards. They recommend hiring a professional inspector who specializes in multifamily properties to identify any potential problems. B. Deferred maintenance. The authors note that deferred maintenance can be a major expense for multifamily property owners. They recommend reviewing the property's maintenance history and identifying any areas that may require attention. C. Renovation opportunities. The authors suggest looking for opportunities to add value to the property through renovations or upgrades. They recommend assessing the condition of the property's amenities, such as appliances or common areas, and identifying any potential areas for improvement. IV. Legal due diligence. A. Title search. The authors recommend conducting a title search to ensure that there are no liens or other legal issues with the property. They suggest working with a title company or attorney to review the property's title history. B. Zoning and land use. The authors suggest researching the property's zoning and land use regulations to ensure that the property is being used in compliance with local laws and regulations. V. Conclusion. The authors conclude by emphasizing the importance of conducting thorough due diligence when considering a multifamily property investment. They stress the need for careful analysis of financials, physical condition, and legal issues to identify potential risks and opportunities. They also note that due diligence is an ongoing process and that investors should continue to monitor the property's performance and address any issues as they arise. Summary of Lesson 6. Closing on Your Multifamily Investment from the Multifamily Millionaire, Volume 1 by Brandon Turner Brian Murray, organized by topics. I. Introduction. The authors discuss the process of closing on a multifamily property investment, emphasizing the importance of careful planning and attention to detail. 1. Pre-closing tasks. A. Finalizing financing. The authors recommend ensuring that all financing is in order and that all necessary documentation has been submitted to lenders or investors. B. Title and insurance. The authors suggest working with a title company or attorney to ensure that all title issues have been resolved and that adequate insurance coverage is in place. C. Property management. The authors recommend selecting a property management company or developing a management plan if you plan to manage the property yourself. 2. Closing tasks. A. Walk-through inspection. The authors recommend conducting a final walk-through inspection of the property to ensure that it is in the same condition as when the purchase agreement was signed. B. Closing documents. The authors stress the importance of carefully reviewing all closing documents, including the HUD-1 settlement statement and loan documents, to ensure that they accurately reflect the terms of the deal. C. Funding. The authors recommend ensuring that all necessary funds are in place and that they are distributed to the appropriate party. 3. Post-closing task. A. Transfer of ownership. The authors recommend ensuring that all necessary paperwork has been filed and that the transfer of ownership has been completed. B. Property management. The authors stress the importance of establishing a good working relationship with the property management company or implementing a management plan if you plan to manage the property yourself. C. Renovation and improvements. The authors suggest implementing any planned renovations or improvements to the property to add value and improve performance. The conclusion. The authors conclude by emphasizing the importance of careful planning and attention to detail during the closing process. They stress that a successful multifamily investment requires ongoing management and attention, and that investors should be prepared to address any issues that arise over time. Summary of Lesson 7. Property Management, Hiring and Firing from the Multifamily Millionaire, Volume 1 by Brandon Turner Brian Murray, organized by topics. Introduction. In Lesson 7, the authors emphasize the importance of effective property management in achieving success in multifamily investing. They stress that the quality of the property management team can have a significant impact on the performance of the property and the return on investment. The authors provide guidance on how to hire and manage a property manager, as well as how to address issues and, if necessary, terminate the relationship with a property manager. 1. Hiring a property manager. A. Identify your needs. The authors recommend identifying the specific tasks and responsibilities that you want your property manager to handle, such as rent collection, maintenance, and tenant relations. They suggest developing a clear job description and identifying the key skills and experience that are required for the position. B. Screening candidates. The authors recommend developing a screening process to evaluate potential property management candidates. This can include reviewing their experience and credentials, checking references, and conducting background checks. C. Conducting interviews. The authors recommend conducting thorough interviews with property management candidates to assess their skills, experience, and fit with your investment strategy. They suggest asking questions about their experience managing multifamily properties, their approach to tenant relations and conflict resolution, and their communication style, i.e., managing your property manager. A. Establish expectations. The authors stress the importance of establishing clear expectations for your property manager, including communication protocols, reporting requirements, and performance metrics. They recommend developing a written agreement or contract that outlines these expectations. B. Monitoring performance. The authors suggest monitoring your property manager's performance regularly to ensure that they are meeting your expectations and that your property is being managed effectively. This can include reviewing financial reports, conducting site visits, and soliciting feedback from tenants and other stakeholders. C. Addressing issues. The authors stress the importance of addressing any issues with your property manager promptly. They recommend having a clear process for reporting and addressing problems, including poor performance, communication breakdowns, or ethical issues. They suggest taking a proactive approach to problem solving and working collaboratively with your property manager to address any issues that arise. 3. Firing a property manager. A. Identify the problem. The authors recommend identifying the specific issues that are leading to poor performance or dissatisfaction with your property manager. They suggest documenting any problems or concerns and seeking input from other stakeholders such as tenants or other investors. B. Communicate clearly. The authors suggest communicating your concerns clearly to your property manager and giving them an opportunity to address the issues. They recommend having a face-to-face conversation, outlining the specific issues, and setting clear expectations for improvement. C. Terminating the relationship. The authors recommend terminating the relationship with your property manager if the issues cannot be resolved or if they persist despite your efforts to address them. They stress the importance of following the terms of your agreement or contract and giving your property manager notice of termination in writing. Conclusion. In conclusion, the authors stress the importance of effective property management in achieving success in multifamily investing. They emphasize the need for careful planning, thorough screening, and ongoing monitoring to ensure that your property is being managed effectively and that you are achieving the best possible return on your investment. They also stress the importance of addressing any issues with your property manager promptly and taking a proactive approach to problem solving. Finally, they note that terminating the relationship with a property manager is sometimes necessary but should be done with care and in accordance with your agreement or contract. The summary of Lesson 8. Syndication. Syndication involves pooling resources with other investors to acquire a larger property than any one investor could acquire on their own. This is typically done through a limited liability company, LC, that is formed for the specific purpose of acquiring and managing the property. The investors contribute capital and receive a percentage ownership interest in the LC, and profits are distributed based on their ownership percentage. Joint ventures. Joint ventures are similar to syndications, but instead of forming an LC, you partner with other investors to acquire a property. Each partner brings different resources to the table, such as capital, experience, and access to financing. The partners share in the ownership of the property and the profits, and each partner's responsibilities and obligations are spelled out in a joint venture agreement. Partnerships. Partnerships involve creating a new business entity with other investors or companies. This can be a great way to leverage other people's skills and resources to grow your business. For example, you might partner with a property management company to acquire and manage properties, or partner with a marketing firm to help you attract new tenants. Systems and processes. As your business grows, it becomes increasingly important to have systems and processes in place that can handle the growth. This includes everything from property management systems to accounting and finance systems. By developing and implementing these systems, you can streamline your operations and focus on growing your business. Hiring and outsourcing. As your business grows, you may need to hire additional staff or outsource certain functions. For example, you might hire a property manager to handle day-to-day operations or outsource your accounting and finance functions to a third-party provider. By delegating these tasks, you can focus on growing your business and creating value for your investor. Technology. Technology can be a powerful tool for scaling your business. This includes everything from property management software to online marketing tools that can help you reach a wider audience and manage your properties more efficiently. By leveraging the latest technology, you can stay ahead of the competition and create value for your investors. Networking. Networking is a crucial part of scaling your business. This involves attending industry events, joining professional associations, and building relationships with other investors and professionals in your field. By networking with other investors and professionals, you can learn about new opportunities, find potential partners and investors, and stay up to date on the latest trends and best practices. Overall, Lesson 8 provides a comprehensive overview of the various strategies and tactics you can use to scale your multifamily business. Whether you choose to pursue syndication, joint ventures, partnerships, or other growth strategies, the key is to have a clear plan and the right systems and processes in place to manage the growth. With the right approach, you can take your multifamily business to the next level and achieve financial success. The topics covered in Lesson 9. Renovations. Renovating a multifamily property can range from small cosmetic upgrades to major overhauls that involve reconfiguring the layout of units. When deciding what renovations to make, it's important to consider the return on investment, ROI. Some upgrades, such as new flooring or a fresh coat of paint, may have a relatively low cost and provide a significant boost to the property's value. Other renovations, such as adding a new unit or building a new amenity, may have a higher cost but can provide a larger ROI over time. Amenities. Amenities can be a major factor in attracting and retaining tenants, especially in competitive markets. Some common amenities that can add value to a property include fitness centers, pools, pet parks, package delivery systems, and outdoor spaces like grilling areas or a playground. When considering adding amenities, it's important to weigh the costs of installation and maintenance against the potential increase in rent revenue. Energy efficiency. Improving energy efficiency can provide cost savings over the long term and make a property more attractive to environmentally conscious renters. Upgrades like LED lighting, smart thermostats, and energy-efficient appliances can reduce utility bills and increase net operating income. Additionally, some energy-efficient upgrades may qualify for government incentives or tax credit. Lease-up. Improving occupancy rates can be a valuable way to add value to a property, especially if you acquire a property that is not fully leased. Strategies for improving lease-up can include updating marketing materials, offering incentives like movie-in specials, and improving the tenant screening process to attract high-quality renters. Expense reduction. Reducing expenses can be a valuable way to increase NOI and boost the value of a property. Some strategies for reducing expenses include negotiating better deals with vendors, implementing preventative maintenance measures, and using technology to streamline operations. Rent increases. Increasing rent can be a straightforward way to boost the value of a property, but it's important to be mindful of local market conditions and tenant retention. Before raising rents, it's important to ensure that they are in line with comparable properties in the area and that the property is offering enough value to tenants to justify the increase. Value-add properties. Acquiring a value-add property can be a valuable way to create value for yourself and your investors. These properties may require significant renovations or upgrades. but have the potential for increased rent revenue and cash flow once those improvements are made. When evaluating a value-add property, it's important to carefully consider the cost of renovations and the potential ROI, as well as the local market conditions and demand for rental units. Now, let's moving towards lesson 2. Now, let's moving towards lesson 3. Now, let's moving towards lesson 4. Now, let's moving towards lesson 5. Now, let's moving towards lesson 6. Now, let's moving towards lesson 7. Now, let's moving towards lesson 8. Now, let's moving towards lesson 9. Conclusion.